We're now pretty much in the height of the Great British Summer. We're approaching the end of June and approaching it very quickly. It's been such a funny year that it doesn't seem as though the year's even got going. And many invertebrates, especially butterflies, have struggled this year and continue to struggle. But for many species, that struggle has been since the wet weather that we've had over winter and the extremely wet spring we had this year. For this chap, it's a bit longer than that. As most of you will know, this is the small tortoiseshell. For decades and decades, all of my lifetime, this has been the commonest of the Nymphalidae that we have in the UK. It was everywhere. Everybody saw this butterfly. Everybody knew this butterfly. It was so common at buddleias in the 70s and 80s and in more recent times. However, it's not a success story for this stunningly beautiful butterfly, and it's a butterfly with a very interesting, although rather worrying, recent history. When I was growing up, this butterfly was everywhere, and it was everywhere in good numbers. Buddleias would be full of this species and other nymphalids too. However, the last few years, this butterfly has shown a dramatic decline, so much so that the butterfly press have put out numerous press releases, as usual, portraying doom and gloom regarding this species, and it's certainly under pressure from a number of factors, and most of those factors seem to be parasitisation. And I say that rather than the variances and extremes of the Great British weather. The wet autumn, winter and spring may not have helped, but this butterfly has been in trouble for a couple of years now. It reached its last peak in 2020 and 2021, declined suddenly in 2022 and reached a low last year in 2023. I think it's about as low as it's going to get, and that over the next couple of years we're going to see a steady increase. It's happened before. We had good numbers and the butterfly reached a peak in the early 2010s. But then there was a steady decline in both numbers and the number of sightings, and those include not only my own but also those reported to the county recorder. And between 2015 and 2018, small tortoiseshell numbers dropped and continued to drop. It was a very slow decline from 2015, but there was a slight increase in 2019. From 2019, the butterfly went mad. It bred well. I recorded large numbers. The county recorder received large numbers, and a full recovery to sort of post 2010 numbers ensued. And then the decline set in again, and it's been a very sudden decline, but a very similar decline in Nottinghamshire to that of 2014 to 2015. It really is an absolutely stunning butterfly. I've reared, or tried to rear, 8 larvae that I took. Finding larvae was unusually difficult. Normally small tortoiseshell larvae, you'll see them on most patches and nettle beds, but I struggled to find any. In fact, I struggled and only had a handful of sightings of adults all year up until very recently. But after finding the larvae, I took some home, and the success of those larvae has been incredibly mixed. Out of the 8 that I took, I've lost 5 to parasitisation and disease, and only 3 butterflies have made it to adult is without a doubt a huge amount of parasitisation. If you collect any caterpillar out of the wild, you've probably got a 50% chance that it's parasitised. Maybe parasitisation levels affecting this species are higher than that, but it's several species that have parasitised the larva that I had. I don't know the identity of those species yet because they're not hatched, but I suspect one is at least a tachinid fly. The others will be Ichneumon wasps. It's just such a shame that such a common butterfly, it's another one of those species that suffers from commonitis, the disease of being beautiful yet common. Does anybody really ever look at one of these beautiful butterflies? Because they are absolutely stunning butterflies. You couldn't ask for a more colourful species than this, but just the pure fact that it's such a common species, nobody ever really looks at it, which is a shame because it deserves to be looked at rather than overlooked. A beautiful, once common butterfly that at the moment is at something of a low ebb in terms of population numbers. But without doubt, this butterfly will make its usual comeback. The fluctuations in numbers from year to year are quite cyclical and occur every so many years. Periods of abundance and periods of decline and low numbers. So I think we can look forward to seeing more of this butterfly and that it will again retain its common and abundant status in the next few years. Either way, it'll be lovely to see numbers of this butterfly increasing again. If you was a child of the 70s and you looked and collected butterflies, this was your staple diet. A butterfly we all knew. Even if some of my relatives continuously used to call it a red admiral. In the end, I knew that when they said they'd seen a red admiral, it was really this small tortoiseshell. A beautiful butterfly, yet everyone ignores it.